One. And I suppose welcome to another episode of Crit Hit, where today we're interviewing the staff of Cradle Games. I'm Arlian.
I'm Sean.
I'm Well. I'm Marc-André. Is that how it works?
Yeah, I mean, I suppose.
Pretty much.
Works.
It's just we kind of just do this stuff on the fly and give it to them.
I mean, it works. He asked the pressing professional questions. I ask the nerdy ones.
No, you dig for spoilers. That's
not just that. I also ask system questions because I like stuff that's mechanic oriented.
Oh, we'll do our best to comply.
Oh, hey.
Outside of the spoiler delivery.
You had to warn them, didn't you?
Yeah, no, I did.
J'accuse.
So, I guess we'll start. As I understand, this isn't like your guys' first rodeo in game development. So I figured we could get a little bit of background on you guys.
Sure, yeah. It's our 11th year in game development. Basically, I started in 2005 at Ubisoft in Quebec. Studied in 3D animation, computer graphics, and then I started to work on Rainbow Six. Moved on to Prince of Persia after that. So I spent 5 years at Ubisoft.
Wait, which Prince of Persia's? There was a bunch.
The unknown gem called as Forgotten Sands on the Wii.
Oh, I remember the Xbox one where I had like the princess character that followed you around. It had like one game in that.
It's even more unknown than this one.
Wow.
Which is a shame because that game had a lot of soul. Forgotten Sands, I think it's the last game that we saw, and then the franchise just disappeared. But the Wii version was completely made in Quebec. It's totally different from it was really an awesome project for us to work for. It was the first big project that Ubisoft Quebec worked on. So we put everything that we had in it. Okay. It's a huge game. I think it's one of the longest Prince of Persia games. And if you have I would say go buy it or perhaps use an emulator.
If you actually can find it, that's the hard part.
I've played most of the Prince of Persia's. I don't think I've played that one, so I might have to check it out.
Yeah, you should have a good time, especially if it's on an emulator, because the Wiimote to fight and nobody likes that. So. It was that time.
If you check online,
sorry,
I read on forums every month about someone finding that game and just having his mind blown because there's nobody talking about it.
There's a lot of games.
Brought it up.
There's a lot of games on the Wii that are like that, though, that are really good and just nobody.
Which is really sad.
Yeah, but it's in our heart forever.
Wow.
So that includes to Linux, Activision.
Yes, that's right. I was talking about my life. I went to Activision to work on Spider-Man, so that's the Amazing Spider-Man, the reboot, the first reboot. I think we're up to the second reboot now. So
the second reboot.
It's the movie with Andrew Garfield, basically. So
not a lot of people like that one, and that's actually my favorite.
It's not mine. It's way too cinematic. I think it really cemented my vision to.
I grew up on the really crappy Spider-Man movies. I'm 30
Sorry?
though. I grew up with the really crappy Marvel movies, like before they got good. So like the original, like freaking Captain America movie, for instance, and
oh man.
So no, you know what?
Which original Captain America movie?
It might be too cinematic or what have you, but no, it's such a vast improvement over the original stuff, which was
was pretty cool. I worked on the boss fight in that game. I was doing a lot of combat system back in those days. And then I moved on to Spider-Man Edge of Time, which is another lesser known title, but
wait, is that the one that has the different Spider-Mans all in the same one?
It's the one that you switch between Spider-Man and Spider-Man 299. It's two Spider-Man.
I'm actually familiar with that one.
Well, it was done in 9 months, I think. It was just insane. But I think we managed to pull it off. I won't spend much more, just to say that I work in mobile games after that, and then did a bunch of stuff and started Cradle games shortly after. So, briefly put, that's my ride.
As for me, basically I started pretty much at the same time in 2005. In my 12 years this summer in the video game industry. I started at Ubisoft with Mathieu. The first game was Rainbow Six Vegas on PSP. Rainbow Six Critical Hour on Xbox. So that Rainbow Six Vegas on PSP, Prince of Persia, the Forgotten Sands on Wii. And we did, in between that, we did a small game for the movie Surf's Up.
Oh, that's right, the penguin surfing game.
Yeah.
Wait,
we did the version. We did the DS, PSP, and GBA version. So that's pretty much my only Xbox game that serves up on GBA.
Yeah, we redid the whole GBA games in 1 weekend.
Yes. And after that, I moved to Assassin's Creed 2 Brotherhood, Assassin's Creed 2 Revelation, Assassin's Creed 3, and the DLC. And that's pretty much after that I left Ubisoft. So if you know a bit of Assassin's Creed 3, the author of the Assassin's Staircase, it's me.
Okay.
Huh. I played all of the Assassin's Creed games up until 3, and that was where I finally stopped. Oh wait, not counting the Chronicles games, because I like Prince of Persia, and they were sort of Prince of Persia-y.
Syndicate is awesome, I think. It was done in Quebec as well. But it's great with that Victorian England era. I really loved it.
I went to do some mobile game with Mathieu in a small studio, and we started Cradle games.
So, like, is all of you folks from Cradle Games all essentially, what would be the term for this? Defectors from Ubisoft?
Not really.
All of us. Lead game from Ubisoft and Activision 2. We have Jean-Michel Derriot, which is our main character artist, which came from Activision Linux.
Yeah, and the rest are young prodigal artists.
Oh, Jonathan came from Fremont.
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, what brought you to the point of wanting to make this particular game? Like, you know, I think we called it Dark Souls Space during our playthrough.
I mean, we could also call it the, like, disturbing love child of Hellraiser, Event Horizon, and Dark Souls. If you want to be a lot more apt.
But what made you want to make this particular game?
The life mission. We've always wanted to bring back some. Because one day the industry took the curve to go very Hollywoodian and scripted event. We didn't like that at all. We remember the good old days of doing couch co-op and hardcore game and just abstract level design, pure gameplay. And we wanted to bring that back. I expect it to come back eventually because I think Hollywood is running out of ideas for video games. But that's what we want to bring forward once more. Get rid of that interruption of gameplay, mathematics, and all that stuff.
So you don't like cutscene heavy games and stuff like that?
Oh hell no. No.
Okay. I'm right there with you. I hate long.
I mean, what was it? Like the record for amount of cutscenes is like hours upon hours, and that's the Metal Gear game.
I mean, they have the right to exist, but I won't have my fill if I don't have a pure gameplay experience eventually. So
I think if you ask anybody in the video game industry, they all going to tell you they want to make their own game. That everybody wants that. And when we were presented with the opportunity to make our own game, I think it was completely normal to go in that genre. We love Dark Souls, we love Bloodborne, and we just sat and came up with, is there anything like a Dark Souls in space? No.
Yeah,
and,
no.
And it was just completely normal to go and say...
Even the Surge actually isn't Dark Souls in space. The Surge is like grungy text Dark Souls.
Like dystopian future.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the Surge is on Earth. It doesn't go in space, I think.
No, I don't think it does. And the other thing is, it seems sort of more social, whereas you get this very isolated vibe from Hellpoint.
Yeah, just like the old Metroid games.
It's really a game where the sunshine and even if something is going wrong, it's still very pretty. It's still there's flower on the ground and so on. If you think of Event Horizon, you think of a space that if you trip, you're going to lose an arm because the environment itself is dangerous.
Everything is pokey and edgy, and if you slip, then you'll bleed to death just by hitting your toenail on the wall.
So you consider like games, the Souls-like games like Bloodborne and Dark Souls and stuff like that, to be that style of game to be just generally like a more pure gameplay experience?
From Software proved that there was a market for hardcore gamer once more, and it went through having that deep, pure gameplay experience. It was the first time that you had a really good mix of an action combat system like Devil May Cry or Zelda, mixed with the pure RPG of stats leveling up and all that. So they had the best combat system with the very good RPG system linked together. I think for the first time. So that opens up that door, and it sold well. So it made the job easy for us to tell people that there's a market for that, and there are players willing to buy a game like that. So for us, it was the best way to experience a video game. So I said, hey, we can do gameplay like that. We have experience to action games, so we use that as a medium. Crazier idea that we wanted to brought forth with the Quantic system and the Dynamic World event and all that sort of thing. We might try different gameplay eventually, but we won't do always Dark Souls game, I think. But I think the Dynamic World and the systems like the Quantic system is going to remain, and we're going to iterate on that.
So certain key systems that you're going to be building up in this that are likely going to become a backbone of some of your future games. Just how like this sort of Dark Souls thing and like it's what would be it? Its formula has sort of become like a call sign of From Software, and in the sense like the Quantic system and this sort of idea of time being a matter of importance and influence on the world is going to be something you want to see in like your games from this point onwards as well.
I think it's more unique to us, that aspect. Coming back to what we were saying earlier, I think this represents what games can do that no other media can do. Creating a revolving world around yourself that you're a part of. It's not spinning around you, you're spinning around the world. Only video games can do that, so we want to exploit this and be pioneer in that type of technology.
Well, yeah, definitely the fact that time is actually relevant inside the game. I believe I actually made a comment on that during our playthrough, that's just something you really don't see very often. I think like Pokemon does it, and that's about it.
Pretty much.
Actually, most MMO are doing something similar, but it's really the idea that the world is not bound to you. If you stop the game and leave, it's going to continue to live, and the time will continue to pass on. So you can stop playing for 6 hours, you come back, and the world has moved on without you.
Okay.
It really makes you feel like the world truly exists somewhere. So
Right, and like,
things are still evolving as you play. I think it's thrilling.
I also actually really enjoyed the sort of, like, I'm a big fan of roguelikes and Metroidvanias and, like, the Souls-like genre, so I really actually found it interesting that when we were starting new instances of the station, bits of the world were randomized. Like, there wasn't debris in places that there was debris in a different playthrough.
Mm-hmm.
And you sort of mentioned that this was going to be one of the key themes to the game, was, like, as you died and changed around the world, the basic outline of the station was going to be staying stable, but these other elements of it were going to be, like, changing. So debris would have fallen in this version of the reality and not in another, which would change, like, the paths you have, where enemies are able to ambush you, the number of enemies that are there. Do you have actually other examples for things that might change?
Yeah. Well, no other example quickly like that, not really, but the goal behind this system is basically we found out that as you play Dark Souls, you learn the position of every enemy, and you're not surprised anymore. Once you've done Dark Souls the whole time, there's nothing. It's still fun to do a new game plus mode, but you lose all the emotion of exploration and discovery of something new popping in your face. It becomes a lot less. It happens a lot less. So in this case, is you die a few times, and if you just don't pay attention, you assume that one enemy is on the right, and when you turn the corner, it's on the left, and you're surprised.
Yeah, it's actually really good, because, I mean, like, even between deaths in Dark Souls, you're like, oh, that enemy's there, he's gonna jump me, and you get that memorization, everything going. In this case, like, the one time I was like, okay, so there's, like, the 4 enemies in the top area, I'm safe to jump down this bottom area, and I got jumped by 4 guys in the bottom area. I'm like, oh.
I love it.
yeah, no. It definitely makes for more engaging gameplay. It's more and more randomized environments are actually becoming kind of a call sign of, the indie game developing world. A lot more people are starting to use it, and it definitely makes, if nothing else, it makes the game, like you said, more replayable.
I think it's a nice happy medium between having a world and having handcrafted level design, because we didn't want to let that go. We wanted to have nicely built level design that makes sense. But the content itself can do a lot of things with it. It's not especially expensive either. So if for us an idea is great and it's not expensive, usually it makes its way into the game.
This kind of game is not a Diablo, so if we were to randomize the layout itself, people would lose themselves into the map. They wouldn't know where to go.
Yeah, which would be a distinct problem, but the actual layout is consistent. It's the details within that are changing, which also, on that note, I really enjoyed the way you handled enemies sort of respawning. They didn't respawn when you visited, like, a checkpoint. It's that they respawned over time, at least for the victims.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I was stunned because we tried a lot of stuff that we were not sure at all if it would work well. I mean, though we never saw that in other games. It was awesome when we released the demo. Hey, it clicks. It actually works.
Yeah. It makes backtracking a little more difficult
If you haven't died in a while, it increases that chance of it happening, because you go from being able to one-shot these guys.
It makes it less like one of the things that people Dark Souls is find a good place where there's enemies that give a good yield of experience that they can also handle easily, and they just cycle through that area over and over again.
Yeah, it removed the possibility to just grind enemies over and over. And on the other hand, it also means you have to, once again, stay on your toes. If you stay alive for so long, you're going to turn a corner and face level 2 or level 3 enemies, and they are a lot harder.
That was actually a question. So far, we've seen the victims got stronger. Is there going to be things like that for the demons, or are they going to mostly be, if you kill them, they're at least out of the way for that?
They work under a different system. These guys comes out of breaches that spawns occasionally, so we have more control over where they spawn and how they spawn and what triggers they're respawning. So, and they're pretty badass, so we won't bring them back to life all the time. So.
Oh yeah, no, I was just wondering if there was something of that sense of like increasing difficulty as you stay alive for those types of enemies, because the fatty demons were what I was farming for now.
It would be part of the Quantic system more like at that hour, then the devil refills himself with demons and so on. So we try to apply different rules to different creatures, basically. So
okay, so like demons would dig in, basically. Like the demons would come in through the breaches, whereas like the victims reanimate. But there will be ways for all of the different things to repopulate, sort of based on what they are.
Yeah, these big dudes have a bit more class in their arrival. Or the basic
no Harlem Shake.
No, they swing.
So,
all right.
Go ahead.
We think about an idea that once you encounter that event happening, your whole brain goes, "Oh, what else? What can happen in that?" That's those kind of ideas and gameplay mechanics. I think that's the ones that we love the most. They make you think the whole level once again. It's okay, if that's how it works now. What if I combine this with this and that? I mean, games do the same rules too often. I think they could explore a bit more, get out of the formula a bit more.
I love the reaction when people are fighting the red demon and suddenly the time is up and it bails out.
I actually, the first time I killed that thing was right when I was trying to bail out. So the rift like popped up and then it just died and its body actually vanished, but it left behind like the loot. But like, yeah, if you kill it right as it's trying to pour it out, its body vanishes. It's great.
At the beginning, you're scared of these guys and you want to stay away, but in the end, you know that they're gonna vanish if you don't hurry up. So.
Oh yeah, they're hugely intimidating until you're actually like ready to fight them.
Oh yeah, definitely.
No was really intimidating. So me and Sean did Namundus in co-op, and finding out, oh hey, so there's a second like projection there, because I noticed like there was a comment of someone being like, man, I want to see a second projection of Namundus when it's like on a higher, when the black hole like aligns with him or whatever. I'm just like, you haven't played co-op, have you? Because I think
exactly what happens.
Yeah, he just like popped up a second thing and like basically one-shot us, I think. Cause
yeah,
like
no, he spammed this like energy attack, destroyed me, basically one volley.
Oh, it was great. And then I died from him just flattening me on the ground. So, I mean, that actually has been a thing that I have seen a lot of people have had questions about in the Discord, at least, was, is there going to be ways to refight bosses you vanquished, considering the different factors involving them, both in the Quantic system and whether or not co-op is actually going to influence their drops? Because you've mentioned if you fight them in a harder mode, they'll have better rewards.
Yes. We don't have a super huge world, so we're gonna allow player to grind to some degrees on the bosses, but they come back under specific condition.
Okay,
That's the-
so
the whole game
there's a
description.
problem-solving aspect to getting them to return, and so we might even get them to return stronger. And then,
Yeah, it has to do with performing ceremonies.
that was one of the other things. So one of my questions, and I've asked this before, was how you were differentiating from the formula of like a basic, what you were doing with the Souls-like formula, and you'd mentioned things involving cults and rituals. So I was wondering if you'd be willing to elaborate a bit more on that.
Mm-hmm. The way we've designed them, and it's yet to be implemented, so I'm a bit talking ahead on that stuff, but we want to align them to the different type of player there is out there. So if you're a cooperative player or a killing player or an achiever or an explorer, then you have a cult that will associate and encourage that behavior on your side. So if you dedicate yourself to the co-op cult, then you get rewarded when you play co-op with other friends and so on. The same thing with PvP or exploration and so on. That's how I would say it for now, because we're really exploring on that aspect. But at the core, that you find what type of player you are, and there's a code for that type of player.
All right, so the co-ops are more
so-
based on player behavior than, say, build types, where in some games the
Well, like in Dark Souls, it's absolutely based on your build.
yeah, or actually Salt and Sanctuary, which gave you the creeds, which gave you different bonuses which benefited certain things. So it's like a caster creed, a non-magical creed, a poison creed. So they were very build
For
oriented.
example, let's say you want to bring a boss back to life. Perhaps there's a cult specific for that. You have to be part of the cult so they can give you the proper ritual to do.
Okay. Actually, that's another question then. So the boss here is like Namundus was like a cosmic god thing, essentially. Do they actually have a cult they are associated with?
I guess I can say that. Each of the part of the station are dominated by one cosmic god who has his own minions, and whose minions have their own effect on the merge victim. So there's like a pecking order from the cosmic gods all the way down to the poor victims. They each have their own agenda towards how they want to exploit the victim, because they kind of drain energy from these little guys. So that's how we add some variety to the type of basic rep that there is. So.
So,
Oh wow,
So,
I'm almost getting a
like,
Requiem vibe of
I-
which cosmic god we kill last, causing something terrible.
So how lore be like? I know with Dark Souls, it has a huge following of people who pore over the lore for hours and weeks and months, looking for every little detail of information. Is that is that going to be kind of a prominent feature in this game as well? Of if people who are lore hunters play it, are they going to have a lot of stuff to look for?
Yes.
Yes, that's definitely the intention. We've been working on that story for more than a year. It gets pretty wicked strange at the end. So we're kind of happy with the result. Every time you think you figure out something, there's something behind that makes you question everything that you just discovered. And the thing that we love, that Dark Souls taught to the whole world, is using the language of the game to tell a story. And once more, coming back to the fact that we don't need cinematic to experience a narrative in a video game. So it's using the NPCs, the environment, the items, the bosses, the enemies, and all the elements of gameplay to tell that story. So it's cool because it's super immersive.
Right, right. Especially because it makes you feel like you're learning it as your character learns it.
So
You're
actually,
responsible for everything that you know.
New Game Plus was mentioned
It's a
as
role
a
that live on
thing.
its own. If you don't pay attention, you're not going to get the story.
Yeah, New Game Plus was mentioned as a thing that's going to be part of the game. So in that case, how many New Game Pluses would it probably take to get like a complete grasp of the story?
The scope that I'm looking at right now is at least 3.
At least 3. And would that
I hope
involve
we'll be able to do it.
would that involve being a part, like would each of the cults also have their own respective parts of the story that you'd basically have to join them to get at?
Well, if you want to have the complete novel, then you have to use pretty much all the mechanics that we're putting forward. So you got to explore the quantum system, the black hole, the boss order, the NPCs, the secrets area throughout the level. So it's a way to encourage a player to try out all the features that we're offering.
Okay.
Okay.
So, like-
1 second. Just this episode's running a bit long, so I'm gonna pop it for a sec.